The Saint, written by Rania Kiwan. Chapter 1. They say going to a new school is like launching a new start, beginning a new chapter in a teenager's life. I had never been the popular girl. If I had been known for anything in my old school, it would have been for being Mrs. Kayan's daughter. I had always hated that because I wanted to be known for me. That's why I was excited and anxious about going to a new school because I needed to find my independence and my identity at a new place, to disentangle myself from the shadow of my mother, who was known to be a strict teacher. Nobody befriended me. I was the girl whom everybody thought to be an average looking nerd who probably got beaten up for not getting good enough grades. I knew that enrolling in a new school would be my embarking on a new journey toward my independence, but what I didn't know was that one single year could change my life forever. It was on that journey that I'd met people who altered what I thought of life, who gave me a new perspective towards every aspect of my existence. It was the year 1998 when my parents finally agreed to move me to a public school and be with my best friend Jane. It was like a dream come true. It was my chance to be who I wanted to be, to show myself like I really wanted to mess up and not worry about my mother knowing about it before we got home, or get chastised about my grades in front of my whole class. I woke up early that morning, the morning of the first day at the new school. With great excitement, I rushed to wake Jane up. She lived in the story just above ours. Wake up! We're going to be late to school! I was thrilled to meet my new destiny. I knew my first day at my new school would be the first chapter of my new life. My dad dropped us off and left. It was a sunny, hot morning. I wore the gray pants and white costume shirt that I had bought a week before. I sure did not want to get in trouble the first day for not wearing the school uniform. I looked at the gate. It was a huge metal gate, like those you see outside prison headquarters. Other kids were driven by their parents and some walked to school. It was located at the top of a green hill in a well known village in the suburbs of Beirut. Jane poked me like she always did and tilted her head at the sign to enter. She hadn't stopped talking about her school for the past week. She was overly excited, like I was, to finally have me going to the same school as hers. She was indeed the most popular girl at school, not for her looks, but because she was one tough girl and nobody dared to mess with her. I straightened myself and walked confidently toward the gate. I needed to make an entrance. I wanted my first impression to be remembered. I wish I hadn't decided on that. The second I walked into the school, I tripped and fell on my back with my legs twirling above my head. I still remember it in slow motion. It was one of the many embarrassing moments of my life. Instead of lending me her hand to get up before anyone would notice my shame, I found Jane bursting with laughter with her fingers pointing at me. Here, let me help you, a voice called. I looked up and there was a skinny boy, probably in the same grade as I was, giving his hand to me while trying to conceal a smile. I'm fine, thanks, I said as I had collected my things and stood up. I gave Jane the meanest look ever. Trying to make an entrance, eh? I'm sure everyone will remember this, she said, continuing to mock me. I looked back to thank the boy, but he was gone. I wondered if he was back to his group to announce the arrival of a clumsy new girl at school. I went to my first class. It was Arabic. I loved that class, especially after I had impressed the teacher with how much I knew of Arabic literature. My classmates were pretty cool and friendly. By the time we went to break, I had already been included in a group of four girls who had known each other since kindergarten. I saw Jane waving for me as she sat on a bench with a group of other seniors. That's my girl Nadia, whom I told you guys about. She's in the other section. Everybody nicely welcomed me and introduced themselves to me as I sat near Jane. Already I felt great about myself. I was hanging with the right crowd. They spent the entire break laughing and telling stories of how they had spent their summer. I didn't speak much. I don't think I ever uttered a word. I just listened to their funny stories and laughed when they did, pretending that I knew what they were talking about. Biology, English, and math were next. Nothing seemed hard for me. The teachers seemed to like the fact that I came from an elite private school and asked me many questions, something that made my classmates a bit envious. I looked for the boy that helped me in the morning among all my classmates, but thankfully he wasn't there. He must be in Jane's section, I thought. That was a relief. I didn't want any of my classmates to know me as the clumsy girl. The bell rang at 2:30 and it was time to get to the bus. I found no trouble to find my bus, for Jane was waiting for me right by it. As I was boarding it, a pungent voice screeched straight through my ears. You! Come right here right now! I looked back and there was this fat short devil woman with eyes popping from behind her thick glasses, pointing her crooked finger toward me. I looked around and found no one there except me. Are you deaf? I said come right here, young lady. Are you talking to me? You got some nerves to answer back? How rude of you! Students started to gather with their mouths wide open. I'm not being rude. I just don't know why you're yelling at me. I answered, unaware of the impending doom. And you're doing it again! Excuse me, ma'am. Can you please stop yelling at me and tell me what's all this about? I'm very confused right now. Unbelievable. You get here and take off your earrings right now, young lady. Oh my god, are you serious? Is that why you're getting mad? Fine, I'll take 'em off as soon as I get home. I could hear everybody whispering in disbelief. I had no clue what all the fuss was about. In my office now.